This is episode 80 of SETI BIMCO, and this is episode 30 of SETI BIMCO Part 2, The Revenge. I just did that part. While George was
I didn't
filling.
interrupt you for once because I wasn't in the room.
It's a spooky October month, whatever it's called.
Yeah, we never did settle on a name.
Spoopy-tober. Spooky-tober. And later this episode, we're going to talk about Killer Klowns from Outer Space.
Yep. A movie, I will already say, too good for SETI BIMCO.
Also, we answer the age-old question. Did Jimmy Carter ever get revenge on his brother, Billy, for using his brother's presidency to promote Billy beer and inflict that on the American people?
Oh, man. The nonstop pop culture references to late 70s fads is such a hallmark of our show.
It's SETI BIMCO Part 2, The Revenge. The show where we create revenge sequels that nobody wanted.
It's SETI BIMCO Part 2, The Revenge.
All right.
Yes, we're here. What do we do
what's
first?
new and exciting? I'll go first.
No, I mean, what do we do first? I got to pick a card before we get nuts.
Go nuts. Go grab your special things. I wrote it down.
Because we watch movies here on SETI BIMCO and we create revenge sequels they didn't have. But also, we pull a wild card question from a jar, which I did. Mm-hmm. And we're going to find out what character from Killer Klowns from Outer Space would be most likely to, and it is number 2, who's most likely to bring the best snack to a Sasquatch autopsy? Did you write that down?
Yeah. I have a question actually about that.
Yeah.
Are we imagining this is taking place in like an operating theater where there's people ringing around it, or is this person getting down to the nitty gritty?
We improv that at the end.
Okay.
And also, contest. We got to announce it.
Contest.
Here. Yes, you'll see.
You sent me something about this, and I honestly didn't understand the rules, so I'm hoping I understand it now.
There. On Instagram, on Threads, on LinkedIn, because I'm not on what used to be Twitter nor Facebook. You can see an image I used to promote Equinox, which we watched last week.
Yep.
It's an image of that demon at the end. I don't know what it's called or if it has a name.
Asmodeus.
So I drew it on, nice paper in ink. Can you hear the dogs? No, I just wondered. Can you hear the dogs?
No, I cannot.
The dogs, George.
From my point of view, it looks like you're just having an episode.
Okay.
The dogs are barking.
The contest. You can win that original piece of artwork drawn by me, Tim Hamilton. It's up there
and
on
I'm going to
Instagram.
Say, yeah.
Wait, let me do the rule before you do anything else.
Okay.
Because you'll derail this.
It's a good piece of art. That's all I was going to say.
The simple rule is send an email to SETI BIMCO, and that's spelled with an E at the end, SEDDYBIMCOE @gmail.com. And I'll put that email up everywhere. All you got to do, write in. So you'll listen to the episode about Equinox, and you'll hear that George watched a different version than me. In his version, there was a character named Flo. In your email, just tell us what Flo's catchphrase was.
I have a question.
Was it kiss my grits? Was it you wouldn't like me when I'm angry? Yeah, what's your question?
They get to make up the catch flow.
No, they got to get. They got to listen to the episode and guess what you said.
Oh, so it's the true answer that we revealed. Okay.
I mean, they got to prove that they listened, at least to that point.
Okay.
And tell what your catchphrase, what Flo's catchphrase was in Equinox. The character that George saw in his version that I didn't see.
The special George O'Connor cut of Equinox. All right.
There, that's all the business, right? And and the first week of November, we'll announce our winner because we need lead time to get all these emails.
To sort through the thousands of emails we will get.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
Out of the hundreds of emails, we're just going to pick out of a hat who wins, okay?
That's a good point, yeah.
Yes, that's
Not everybody gets this piece of art. And I do want to say, Tim Hamilton, you wouldn't know from this, but he is a famous New Yorker cartoonist. This is an excellent drawing. They really captured it. It's going to be a great piece of original art.
You see it. They're seeing it online right now, George. It's on.
Yeah, but I've seen like it unphotoshopped. It's so pretty.
Okay, that's it. That's all the business. That was
All right.
boring. Boring business.
Was boring. Sucked. Is anybody still listening? Yeah, I'm gonna share my business.
Business,
Tim?
okay.
Well, I want everybody to know. Normally, Tim and I record fairly not even late. We record about like 7:30 on like a Thursday. That's kind of our standard slot.
Yeah.
But last night I had plans. My partner is a performer, so I wanted to see her perform. I should mention I'm very slightly hungover because I drank many beers last night.
Okay.
And instead, Tim and I are actually recording this. The sun still in the sky.
Nobody cares, George.
I'm just saying there's gonna be a different feel. Early Friday. Normally, Friday at like at about 5 p.m. Normally, like this is the time where Tim like unhinges after a week of whatever the hell he does all week, and the dude does like a lot of hard drugs and gets drunk. He will like almost like a terrorist bomb my friends and I with texts from whatever bar he ends up at with a weird string of non sequiturs.
I'm usually banging on the boss's head like a bongo. What's that song?
I don't want to work.
Yes,
I want to bang that one. That's
any rock
but yeah,
station.
Tim is like a big. He's a big
Friday.
TGIF guy, and I'm delaying his bacchanalia. So you're welcome, Brooklyn.
Okay.
I like to think Alexa Week is sitting there in a bar like, thank God that guy is not coming in with his bananas this week.
Wow.
Reference to previous episodes.
Just
all right.
Cut that out. That reference. Okay.
All right.
I look up revenge stories.
Yeah.
But I'm always trying to find heartwarming revenge stories, and it's very
kind
hard.
Kind of incongruous.
So hard. Oh, I did.
So what you're saying?
But I did send you a thing about Paul Landis. I'm kind of excited. And I know, and I know it means nothing. He was the 28-year-old Secret Service agent next to Kennedy when he was shot. He just came out with a book.
He's no longer 28. He's now like 70 something.
He's 80.
Oh yeah.
So basically, he moved a bullet. That's all. I mean,
I'll just so if we're keeping this in at all.
Yes.
For years, there was the reference in the Kennedy assassination. Again, we are making the references well beyond the age of anybody listening. There was the magic bullet theory because when they took the Governor McGovern off his stretcher, there was a bullet found on the stretcher. And like, how did it pass through Kennedy's head and hit McGovern and go here? It must be a magic bullet. Turns out this guy has admitted that he just found the bullet in the backseat of like wedged into the backseat of the car and dropped it on the governor. So,
but you may ask, what has this to do with revenge?
I was going to ask. I'm like, that doesn't have anything to do with revenge.
What does it have to do with revenge? Well, the answer may surprise you.
All right, let's hear it. Oh no, is this a list already?
No.
Okay.
Did you know that some people feel that Sinatra had him killed because Sinatra helped him get elected and said, you're going to leave my possible mob friends alone, but Kennedy's brother did not leave them alone. Did you know this theory?
No.
Okay. All right. Nothing.
I mean, it sounds like, from what I know about Frank Sinatra, I know he was supposedly mobbed up. It sounds like it's a potential thing that could have happened. I've noticed this is not the first time you've gone to the Kennedy well, because last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago, your revenge story was the story of Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis and her sister, and how they kept like sleeping with each other's partners as a way of revenge. Well, are you going through a Kennedy thing? Right? You're always mentioning the Zapruder film.
I'm trying to educate the kids. The kids today don't want to watch the Zapruder film. They're like, this is long. The special effects are terrible.
Yeah.
What's the whole point of this? And some kids, they saw the, they saw the film when Ruby shot Oswald. And they're like, what's going on? I don't understand. Is he his father? And parents are like, no, you got to see the first film first.
Oh, okay.
Cut this. Can we redo the beginning?
Cut all this out. All this is going. Let's just launch into the movie.
We don't have a good revenge story, basically. I couldn't find one. I couldn't find a heartwarming one. I actually think
this is a good sign that we as a society don't have a good revenge story. Well, so much of people's time and effort is taken up in these petty grievances and spending time trying to get back at one another.
Yeah.
This week, nobody was trying to grind an axe against him. Everybody's just like, you know what? I'm going to live and let live. Let my bygones be bygones. I'm just going to like work on improving my own stuff. I can't change the way other people behave.
Well, I'm looking
This was a happy.
historical revenge stories, George. Yeah, I need to find a revenge story from now on, I guess. We can't just talk about... What did we just talk about, George? Tell me. We said hello. I introduced the contest.
I mentioned I was slightly drunk.
You're
not drunk.
hungover.
I was slightly hungover. I mentioned that normally at this time you're super drunk.
Banging the bongos on the boss's head.
Yep, you were banging bongos.
I still don't know what the lyrics are to that song.
It's I don't want to work. I just want to bang on D-drum all day.
Is there something about the boss's head? No?
I think, okay, Simpsons had the bit where Homer quits and Carl goes, hey, nice to play the boss's head like a bongo, Homer.
Yeah, isn't there a song? Or am I just confusing memories?
So much of what I have experienced is through The Simpsons and not realizing until years or decades later it was a reference to something. It's entirely possible the reason he was playing that Homer played Mr. Burns' head like bongos was that it was a song, but not one I knew. Because the references, it's always to like really, I was a little kid watching it. It was stuff to like references to like when the writers were little kids. And so I missed a lot of it.
Speaking of Simpsons.
Is
that a segue to this movie?
Sure. I want to hear you do this.
Let's talk about the movie.
By the way, I just looked up Boss Head play like bongo, and all that comes up is a bunch of Simpsons references.
I
think that's what it is. Yeah. So getting back into today's movie that we will discuss was my pick. It is 1988. I would say this is a cult classic, Killer Klowns, Clowns with a K, from Outer Space, directed by the Chiodo brothers.
It's pronounced Chiodo brothers, George.
Chiodo? That sounds like a Star Wars character.
Come on.
This is probably a movie, if you are of a certain age like me, that you have seen in video stores for like ever and stuff. Like, it's always been a movie I've been like, I kind of want to see that. It's like, I think the box art was like a clown hand, like blowing up the earth or something, or spinning the earth like a balloon.
Yep, like a balloon.
We've all seen bits of this, and like I've actually heard good things. So as we celebrate our spooky October, I'm like, let's do this. Let's watch this one.
It's basically the Chiodo brothers. They do special effects, and they did some Simpsons claymation.
Apparently, they did some work for The Simpsons. The thing I'm best know them for is if you've ever seen Tim Burton's Pee-wee's Big Adventure, they do the large Marge sequence, which is, wonderful.
And they did the animation for the beginning of Elf. I read that.
They did that.
So stuff like Critters. They did Critters and Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yeah, I saw Ernest. I couldn't remember the Ernest.
Didn't they animate the Davy and Goliath?
I don't think. Yeah, because they're hardcore Christians. That message keeps coming up throughout this. And the one clown who keeps saying, I don't know about that, Davy. That's a reference lost on everybody.
I did that a few episodes ago. You're like, what are you doing? I'll say, Davy.
Oh, you probably did it. Did you do it in one of your two voices? Your normal voice and your Mark Twain voice?
I did the dog's voice, Goliath. Davey.
Do it again. Say it again, Tim. But let's derail this before we begin. Say something. I'm Davey. All right, like, hey Goliath, what do you think we should do with those devil worshippers? There you go.
I don't know, Davey. Maybe you should talk to your mother about it.
Oh, wow! There's like your Goliath. The dog has a sinister air to him. Like there's a little bit of a southern twang. I don't remember him having, but.
Davey,
I don't know.
You should get some batteries for your radio, Davey. Take it out of your father's flashlight, Davey. That flashlight that's spelled wrong. Looks like it says flesh.
Oh.
I don't know.
Wait, I have a question, Tim.
What?
Do fleshlights have batteries?
They must, right? I don't know.
I thought they just, I don't know. Listeners,
Neither
if you are the proud owner
know.
of a fleshlight and want to like share, let us know if fleshlights have batteries or this rely on good old-fashioned elbow grease write to us at SETI BIMCO with an E at the end. And
I
you might get some art from Tim.
I assume they were electric. I don't know.
I don't know. All right, let's talk about this fucking movie. So right off the bat, I knew we were in for something interesting, because normally, like, it's the production company. It's like two guys in an airless garage with model glue open or something.
Yes.
Like, this was an MGM movie. I'm like, wow. And I realized we just never see anything like this on this show.
This was like 70% on Rotten Tomatoes. I was worried.
Is that good or bad in your opinion?
No, the movie is good.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. I'd heard it was good, but I also knew it was kind of like what it was. Like, it's, it's like, it's not like nobody's going to think this is like Terms of Endearment or like Oscar bait or something, but like, it was well put together. Like, it actually had a real budget, I guess.
Yes, because it had...
because I mean, MGM made this movie. I don't think we've ever had an actual studio film.
It had money because the cop at the start, Mr. Mooney.
Yep.
He's played by John Vernon.
Yep.
He was in Herbie Goes Bananas. We all know him.
Well, he's also Dean Vernon from Animal House, which I was stunned to learn his real name was Vernon. I'm like, really?
Animal House, yes.
Yeah.
But mostly Herbie Goes Bananas, George. But
no, mostly Dean. Also, for those of you who are of a comic persuasion, like Tim and I, he was the voice of Rupert Thorne on Batman the Animated Series.
I read that, yes.
Yeah. I was like the whole time, like, this guy is a voice in a cartoon I watched a lot. So it starts off, we just see like a little town vista. I think the name of the town is Crescent Cove.
Yes, it is.
We see this guy, like, you all know this actor. You recognize his voice, if nothing else. But like I said, he's the Dean from...
Oh, him, yeah.
Yeah, Dean Vernon. He's playing Kurt Mooney, the cop, who is just, that guy, he's a misanthrope. Yes, he sucks.
Hates everything.
And he's a blonde guy who's just walking by in the foreground, who I thought was going to be the main character, but as near as I could tell, never appeared again.
Yes,
he's like, I hate cops. And the cop Vernon's like, son of a bitch. He's got this great resonant voice. Like, the dude really has an amazing voice.
These are the college kids, right?
Yeah, well, it wasn't one of the kids. Actually, I did look it up right before we started recording. Do you remember there was the old TV show on Fox, Titus, like a stand-up comedian?
Vaguely.
It was him. That was the guy playing this blonde guy. He just has a small cameo role.
He just walked by and said, I hate cops? I don't remember that.
He goes, I hate cops. He's carrying something out of like the drugstore. And the cop sees him and goes, son of a bitch. Because the cop hates everybody.
He's like, no, I'm just reading I Hate Cop magazine. I bought in the drugstore.
The new issue has a double-page fold-out.
Of you.
And then, oh boy, my notes are kind of spotty here.
I know it, George. I know it. We just go up to a makeout place.
We go up to a makeout point.
Here's where the movie becomes very confusing to me.
Yeah. Well, it was confusing because it seems like we're being introduced to a lot of characters and we're not really sure who's going to be a main character yet.
No, that's not what's confusing.
That was confusing to me. Oh.
They are at the makeout point. Obviously, they're not teenagers as actors, but as we learn later, I'm like, do you have parents? I do live here in this town. Anyway, we'll get to it, but they don't seem like teenagers. And no. He has
they have their own house. They're definitely not teenagers.
Yeah, so why are they out in the woods making out? That's what you do.
Well, Tim, you could speak to this better than me. You grew up in a small town. Like, would you just do if there was nothing else happening? Would you just go and like make out with your with your
girlfriend who you have
significant other?
You could do that at home. Well, yeah, but it's just like a makeout place with a bunch of cars. That's usually teenagers.
Yeah. They also were doing it on a raft in the car.
That's
which
what
I was like,
it's in a raft.
Like, I wonder if we missed something. Like, if there was a scene beforehand where they were whitewater rafting, and they're like,
there was some flooding.
That gave me a powerful hankering for some over the clothes petting. So they're making out. There's groups of couples there, and this ice cream truck pulls up. This is our first sighting of a clown. It's this big ice cream truck with like a giant, like, animatronic clown on front.
Yeah.
Coco the ice cream clown, and like there's these two ice cream guys,
Rich and Paul,
the Terenzi brothers, right?
Yeah, the Tiramisu brothers, the Terenzi brothers, Rich and Paul.
And they're like yelling, like, "Hey, come on, stop your making out, get some ice cream!" And all the people are like laughing at him. Yeah. And then in what I think was kind of like probably an ugly joke, there's like these, there's these two girls who I think were supposed to be chubby, but they weren't even that.
Yeah, but they were.
they weren't like, 80s like starlets,
Mm-hmm.
but they were just like, they look kind of like just relatively normal people. But they're like eating ice cream in the back, and they're like, "Oh, Terenzi brothers. Well, we thought if we got the ice cream truck, we get girls. We got girls, but they're eating too much ice cream."
I know. That's what was.
And the girl's like, "Where are we going?" They're like, "Keep your shirt on." They're like, "Oh, we intend to." It's
I
like,
know.
oh,
It's, there were no good jokes. Maybe one joke in this movie.
no, yeah. And then after all this stuff goes on, which we're like watching these Terenzi brothers, we see that one of the couples, the one that we were mentioning, who is laying on a raft inside his car making out with his girlfriend.
This is Mike Tobacco. I don't know how you forgot
Mike
his name.
Tobacco
And Debbie.
is making out with his girlfriend, Debbie Stone.
Debbie Stone.
And we do learn that he is best friends with the Terenzi brothers.
That's also weird. He's like, those guys, they're my best friends after they like drive away and piss everybody off.
Those knuckleheads are my best friends. Now, a couple little factoids I learned about this movie for watching this. You will notice watching this movie that I've never heard so many New York, like Long Island accents in a movie. It's a lot of people. Like the guys are from Long Island, and there's a lot of their friends. And all the characters are apparently named after people they knew.
Ah, okay.
Because I thought the name's like Mike Tobacco. I'm like, that's a weird name. Turns out it's a real guy. That's why.
Mike Tobacco.
And after they laugh at this, they see a shooting star.
Yes.
It's a big end.
He's like, let's make out, Debbie. And Debbie's like, oh, I want to go follow this shooting star. He's like, you sure? You sure you'd want to make out? Anyway, they do that for 5 minutes.
This is actually, I thought, interesting. I read this after the fact. The characters of Debbie and Mike Tobacco were a deliberate inversion of what you normally see in this movie. And that Debbie is the blonde girl who's actually the much smarter and capable of the two.
Yeah, she is smart.
And her boyfriend is adult. And he really is. Like, he's a fucking moron.
He has a raft to lay on, and the Tiramisu brothers are his best friends.
Mm-hmm. And he consistently says and does stupid things. So then we cut to, like, this farmer.
Oh, George. Can I explain the farmer?
Yeah,
do you know who he is?
He's not Soupy Sales.
His name is Royal Dano.
That's the actor.
Yes.
Is he related to King Moody, the guy who played...
That's right. He should be. He played Lincoln once, and his voice was the voice of the animatronic Lincoln at Disney until 2001.
What? All right, Tim.
Somebody accidentally erased his voice. Yeah.
Oh, no. Is that really what happened?
No, really, they found an old recording of what Lincoln sounded like. And like, you sound nothing like Lincoln. We need a new person. It turned out that Lincoln's voice is more like, 4 Davy. It's 4 7 years ago. That's what Lincoln actually sounds like. What are you trying to tell me?
That's actually Lincoln recording, by the way. He just inserted that. But everybody, I'm slamming the brakes on because Tim just provided a perfect segue point.
Okay.
Little behind the scenes. If you are somebody who follows us in social media, and you have been for a while, back when John Kelly, our missing in action co-host, John, we miss you, was a part of the show on a regular basis, Tim had created a little piece of animation where it was Tim and John speaking, holding coffee cups in front of their mouths so you didn't have to worry about lip syncing, which he would like play to clips from the show to advertise it. Mm-hmm. And I was lamenting the fact he never did one for us. And Tim said, if you make a list about 3 ways clowns are like Lincoln, I'll do that. And folks, that's right. For me, this time I fucking did it.
Uh-oh.
I wrote a goddamn list of 3 ways clowns are like Lincoln.
Hope it's not as good as mine.
Oh, you did it too?
Of course.
All right. So number 1, both Abraham Lincoln and clowns have oversized noses that honk if you squeeze them.
That's true.
It's true. Number 2.
Okay.
Wait, do you have something to add? You have something to add?
No.
Okay. Number 2, similarities in which clowns are like Lincoln. Number 2, a few weeks before he was elected to his first term, an 11-year-old girl named Grace Bedell wrote Abraham Lincoln a letter asking him, suggesting to him he should grow a beard in order to make him appear more friendly because he seemed haunted and scary. She thought this would help his election chances.
Okay.
Similarly, later in her old age, same Grace Bedell wrote a letter to John Wayne Gacy urging him to paint his skin chalk white and to put a big red bloody rictus on his face in order to make him seem more cuddly.
Wait a minute. Who? Oh, similarly, it's not the same girl.
No, it's the same woman.
Different
She
time
was only
periods.
11.
She was only 11
works.
when Lincoln was
She was
shot.
11 when she wrote to Lincoln. And then a lot of people don't realize this because here's the thing. She was so grieved to learn what happened to Lincoln, she actually fell asleep for 50 years. Didn't age. It's a modern miracle. All right.
Yes.
Number 3. Lincoln Logs,
Bring it home.
our children's building toy named after our 16th president.
No.
Clown logs are turds.
I knew you were going there.
And
I said no.
because I love you all, I wrote a bonus question. You ready?
Okay, question.
A bonus answer. A bonus way that they're similar. Because I'm like, turns out once you really dig down, there are a lot of similarities between Clowns and Lincoln. Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy who begged him not to go to the play that night at Ford's Theater.
Mm-hmm.
Clowns don't have secretaries because they're clowns, and mostly, I imagine, are homeless.
Okay. That's good.
Yes. Wow, Tim. I got to say,
I don't know.
The heady rush of power, the knowledge that I could take this inane list that I spent time writing and derail our show. I don't know what we were talking about, where we left off. The listeners don't. People are deleting this episode from their podcast listener because they're like, what the fuck is happening? So we cut back to our farmer, who is
Royal Dano.
Royal Dano, who's definitely the sort of character Tim loves.
Oh, I love him.
Because Royal Dano is like, he's just like a corn-fed yokel. And he's all like, golly, there's a shooting star. And he goes with his adorable little basset hound to go explore where this thing hit. The dog's name is Pooh Bear, which I was delighted by. And they're walking, they find where this meteor hits, the shooting star. There's not a crater, Tim.
It's a tent.
It's like a circus tent.
Golly, the circus is in town.
Circus is in town.
Hope they got some naked ladies.
Yeah, and he starts rubbing his nipples through his flannel shirt. It's weird.
Jeez.
And then we see a shadow cast on the as they walk along. We see like a shadow moving inside, and it's a monstrously shaped clown. It's our first glimpse of them. Trapdoor opens up. Poor Pooh Bear is snatched by a net.
That's sad.
And the farmer's all like, "Where's my Pooh Bear? Where?" And he gets electrocuted by a clown, and then he gets shot.
Yep, he disappears.
And then, oh man, the plot of this movie is going to be very difficult to talk about.
Listen, there is no plot.
The plot is that these aliens are attacking this town, and they look like clowns.
But I would like to say before I forget, this had no real through line to make you go, I really want to know what happens next, because I mean, it's the same plot as Gremlins, but at Gremlins, at least, there was a kid and his girlfriend, and they were the ones that brought Mogwai, and like, we got to fix this.
Yeah.
We did all this. This movie is just like, here's a joke about clowns killing people. Here's a joke about clowns killing people. There was really
it's purely
nothing.
episodic, and the clowns kill people in ways that are like vaguely circus related every time.
Yep.
And so it's really disjointed. I imagine we'll leave stuff out. If we do mention something, it's probably because it's going to tie into our revenge sequels.
Well, we do have
to set up another major character though, Tim.
Yeah.
We cut back to Sheriff or Cop Kurt Mooney, the angry cop who hates kids. He's got these two like generic 80s punks that he's arresting and they're kind of brutalizing.
They're from the nearby college. He's like, parents send you here for me to babysit. And
they were drinking off campus, or they weren't even drinking off campus. They bought booze off campus to go back to campus to drink, but he nailed them for we're not sure what.
Because Officer Dave's like, come on. I can't do his voice. What was his voice?
Like, he just had a kind of generic voice. He wasn't Southern. He was just,
come on,
his
Moody.
name is Dave Hansen. He's like, hey, Moody. And like Moody hates Dave, who is a young, good looking blonde cop.
Yep.
Moody's an old man, in case we didn't make that clear.
Yeah.
Because Dave went to the academy.
Oh yeah.
So apparently, I guess Mooney comes in,
but they hate each other so much. I thought it was good cop, bad cop. until they walked away. I'm like, oh no, they're not doing that. They're just.
Oh yeah, I literally wrote the same thing. My notes are like good cop, bad cop. Oh no, it's just. But it is literally because Dave, folks, is a good cop. Mooney is a very bad cop. In a way, honestly, though, I feel like you didn't see this sort of depiction. Like we know, unfortunately, that there are cops like that in the world. We didn't see that back then.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, this guy. I've definitely seen this sort of guy in the news recently.
Oh yeah. So we go back to where Debbie and Mike Tobacco find the tent in the forest.
Oh, you forget first, Mike Tobacco does an incredibly racist Native American impersonation.
Well, I was getting there. Yeah, lead the way.
Okay,
Chief running at mouth or something. I forget.
Yeah, like keep saying how.
Yes,
pretty upsetting.
And they go into the tent. Isn't that? Well, it's a spaceship. Yeah, that looks like a tent. And did we mention that?
And I wrote down it's like a TARDIS because it's like it looks like a fairly small tent on the outside.
Yeah,
but it's this giant structure on the inside.
He thinks this is where he wouldn't know this. He's like, oh, it's like a European circus fantastique or what?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting, right?
I was like, he doesn't know what that is. He just saw that in a school book.
He's an idiot. Yeah, because first he thinks it's a weird European circus. It's like in the middle of the woods. There's nothing else around. There wasn't even like really an entrance, right? They get sucked in by a weird elevator door that opens.
Yeah, they go in and it looks like the shaft in Star Wars where they're on one side. It's
shaft.
I think he took that. He took a full semester of European circus fantastique. What's it called? What's the French circus?
Are you talking the Cirque du Soleil?
Yeah, Cirque du Soleil. Yeah,
he does call. I think it's Cirque Fantastique, though.
That's how he says. Well, he says, "Are we going to see the Circus Delay?" All right,
good one too. And then he thinks it. Then they come into a room where they see like there's this cotton candy everywhere, like giant balls of cotton candy. So he's like, "Oh, it's a cotton candy factory." And Debbie's like, why is there a cotton candy factory in the middle of the woods that wasn't there just a few moments ago? And it's making all. There's nobody here. She's like got a brain. And he really is like.
This must be where they make the popcorn.
And he's like, see, it is cotton candy. And he pulls a chunk of cotton candy off and is revealed the red face of the farmer.
Yep.
He's been swathed in cotton candy. I guess he's dead.
Yeah, I think they're all dead.
Yeah, or they're being preserved.
Somewhere in here, he makes another bad joke about some other women he wanted to date. Why does he bring up Linda, the bulimic wonder? Did you hear that joke?
No, can you remind me? I don't remember this part.
I don't know why he was bringing up other ladies. He's like, oh, you mean I could go on a date with Linda, the bulimic wonder? I'll feed her and she'll purge her dinner. I don't know. It was just a bad joke. I thought
That's weird. Really?
Yes, he made a joke like that. I'm not
Do you
going
think
anywhere.
He's into vomit play?
I'm not going to make. I'm not making that up.
Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it off.
All right.
They freak out.
Mm-hmm.
We get our first really clear glimpse of like a clown. So the killer clowns are like full body suit.
Yes.
They're wearing like clown outfits, and they have like latex, like or whatever rubber hands and faces that are monstrous. They look vaguely human, but like. It's actually pretty good costumes.
Yeah,
like
they did
the special effects are pretty clever.
That's the only reason.
They have a weird way of like squeaky talking.
Mm-hmm.
And every way that they're monstrous. They have like sharp teeth and like they're gross. And every way they try to kill you is something that's kind of clownish or circus related. This one clown has a big gun. I read it was the most expensive prop in the entire movie.
I read that too. They see it once.
6 weeks and $7,000. Why?
Yeah, it shoots popcorn once.
It shoots popcorn at them that chases them, sticks to their clothes. They escape to the surface. They get into their car. There's then we see other clowns. There's like 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
The guy, Mike Tobacco, runs a bunch of them over.
Well, they get
up again.
The only funny joke is one clown makes a balloon dog that sniffs the ground.
Oh, I forgot that part. Yeah. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're hunting through the woods. He makes a little balloon dog. He makes it out of like his balloon animals, and it like actually hunts them through the woods.
And they run it down.
And they pop it, and he runs over the clowns, but they're okay. And they race into town because Deb's like, I have a friend at the police station.
Yeah, this is the thing I have questions about.
What is it?
Her friend is Dave, the police officer.
Yeah. Well, they specifically say
why are they? Are they teenagers in the woods making out? So I'm like, when were you dating a police officer? In high
This
school,
reminds me very much of
again.
This reminds me very much of the problem you had when we watched Chopping Mall.
Well, when she eventually goes home, it's like a big house. It's got to be
Yeah.
your parents' house. It's like a home you own when you're older. I don't
Yeah,
get.
so there is the way I interpreted it is I felt like Dave the cop was new to the job. They mentioned the academy thing. So he probably graduated high school a few years before her, and
But it's a small town.
went
They
to
all know each other.
yeah, because he
We're getting-
dated her previously.
So wouldn't what? But Mike Tobacco doesn't seem to know this. That's what I'm saying.
Mike Tobacco is clearly a later addition to the scene.
I think he's that
he
stupid.
moved in from California.
No, he was
Yep.
there. He took
Virginia. That's where they grow.
he
the
took
tobacco,
one
right?
class of Circus Fantastique, and he never noticed anything else. He did want to make the class Circus Delay. I mean, never mind.
Oh God! All right.
Circus.
So
Wait,
then,
George,
yeah.
I got to derail you.
Oh, you're gonna drill. Oh, good.
This
We were
is the
getting
part
a
of
little
my
momentum
notes
there. All right, let's go.
Where I have
All
my
right,
list.
let's hear your list. All right, what's your list?
My list of things clowns have in common with Abe Lincoln.
Oh, you can't do the same list.
I did it.
You can't challenge me. All right, listeners.
But why would I
listen
tell
his
you to do
list.
that?
Write in.
It's not
Write in which is the better list.
George,
Seti Bimco.
It's not a contest.
I think it is.
It's not a contest, George.
Tim will give you another piece of art if you write in and vote for me.
All right, here's my
Let's hear your list.
3 ways.
All right.
So in 1859, obviously before cars were invented, one of the popular clown acts involved Lincoln's top hat being driven into the big top, and like 20 or 23 clowns would get out of that little hat.
20 or 23, but never 21 or 22.
No,
That's one or the other.
that was too
Clown
dangerous.
laws were very specific.
Sometimes one would die. It was very dangerous to be a clown back then. But they would just weekend at Bernie him and get him off the stage. That's what they called it. That's what the movie name comes from.
Oh, that's why he's
It's a
called
clown-
Bernie instead of
clown
like
term.
calling him Maurice.
When clowns,
it's like the old thing they used to do with dead clowns.
yeah, when one
Yeah,
would
okay,
die in
that
a
makes
tiny
sense.
car, yeah, they would
Yeah.
weekend at Bernie him, keep him.
Everybody knows this. I learned it in my Cirque du Soleil class that I took one semester of.
Okay, number 2, Lincoln. He was the 16th president of the United States,
Yes.
and because of the clown car tragedy of 1925, the maximum amount of clowns that are now allowed to be stuffed into a car is 16 or 17 if one of them is dead.
All right. Nice.
See, they got to make sense, George.
Yeah, this makes perfect sense. I'm so glad we're derailing the show a second time for this.
The third way is it's going to shock you.
Okay. Oh.
John Wayne Gacy. He was a Lincoln buff.
Wow, you both went Gacy.
Yes, we both went Gacy.
It says a lot about this podcast.
He was a big Lincoln buff. That's a warning sign. That's it. I had 3.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, I did have an extra one. You want my extra one?
I want your bonus too. I did a bonus.
Lincoln's face is on the penny. And a famous clown trick from 1890 was a trick where a clown would swallow a hay penny and poop it out a few days later.
Will a hay penny do?
Yes. That's
If you haven't got a hay penny, God bless you, though. I came
Save it
so
for
close
Christmas. So
to
close.
writing a joke about a clown eating pen. Like, actually,
What?
it wasn't going to be eating pennies; it would be shoving pennies up their ass.
What?
All right, so from here on in, the movie basically, like, here's the gist, right? The clowns are basically doing a stealth invasion of this town where people mistake them mostly for clowns at first,
Mhm.
and then they kill them in various ingenious ways.
Yeah.
We have our heroes, Mike and Debbie, trying to convince the cops that something is going on. They succeed very quickly in convincing Dave, who we learn is Debbie's ex.
But Mooney's like,
But of course, Mooney's like, no. And Mooney,
But-
bless that guy's soul, despite mounting evidence to the contrary throughout, he never believes there's a clown invasion going on.
and he, when Debbie and Mike Tobacco come in, he calls Mike a fart. I was like, don't they
I know
swear?
you little fart.
And he calls her
He
a
calls her
tramp.
the W word. Oh, it's a treat. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty addict. But I actually thought the little fart thing was a good, it made sense because he recognizes Mike Tobacco. He goes, I know you, you little fart. You hang out with those Terenzi brothers. This is all a routine to drum up business for their clown ice cream truck.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, scriptwriters.
Big drama.
It actually makes a little bit of a sense at first.
Yeah.
Because if I'm like a cop and I know that this guy hangs with these people with a clown-themed business, so like killer clowns from outer space are coming and killing people, I'd be like, probably not. However,
it's like
he really slaps the blinders on, and like I said, despite like insane amounts of evidence to the contrary,
it's like that scheme the Termenzi brothers had with that white van, and they were giving away candy to kids. I know what you're up to. Anyway,
wow, we're going that with that, huh? So let's see. We see one of the killer clowns pretending to be an animatronic clown in front of a drugstore
to hide for some reason.
There's like a animatronic. Yeah, we don't know why. What else?
One does a puppet show to a random adult who seems to be high. He's like, "Hoo, a puppet show."
I wrote odd-looking person. That guy, that person. I wasn't really sure of what they were. Man, woman, child, whatever. Was odd-looking. Does a whole puppet show, and then it ends where the puppet show drops. A big monstrous clown comes out and shoots him with a cotton candy gun. So they have these guns. Yeah. They look like bubble guns, and they shoot like a pink ray that wraps around you and entombs you in cotton candy, like what we saw happen to the farmer.
They do show up at a lady's house who's like drunk.
Well, just like, I got excited.
We're here with pizza.
This woman shows up. She's actually like...
No, most they of this go movie, to her
like
house.
They show up at her house. She's a very good-looking woman who's kind of wearing maybe a negligee. She shows up with a bottle, like a glass of wine. I'm like, oh, we're gonna see something spicy. We don't. They just shoot her. They just say it's pizza, and then they show up at another house where they show up with a candy heart and another lady. This is just like a standard like middle-aged woman.
Stupid.
She's like, oh, Henry, did you get this for me? And then they shoot her.
Biker bar. They ride up on a little clowny bike, and the bikers are like, "Hoa hoa."
Yeah, so a little tiny clown, because there's all these clowns. There's a lot of different clowns.
They're called little clowns. George.
Rides up on like a little clown bike. He makes these kind of weird squeaky noises because that's how they talk.
Yeah.
And these bikers, these kind of 80s bikers, one of them's like, "Could I ride your bike?" And he's like, "Squeak, squeak, squeak." He's like, "No, we're going to smash your bike." And he smashes the bike, and the little clown cries. And then, like, I guess jumps away. It's a little weird cut. Jumps back with, like, boxing gloves.
Yep.
And he's going to fight the biker head guy. And the biker's guy goes, "I'm going to knock your block off." And then the little clown literally punches the man's head off.
Yep. Super. That wasn't the best fake head.
Nah.
I guess they weren't going to get too gross in this.
Wasn't the best? Yeah, actually, because most of the there wasn't a lot of gore.
Yeah.
Right. There was stuff that was like kind of like
they should have.
It was mostly cartoony, but like his head gets knocked off, and all the other bikers run away.
Oh, the little girl though. There's a little girl at a burger joint. They're this family,
big top burger joint,
saddest looking family. Eat your fries.
Like,
shut up.
They're even saying, they're like, it's just this defeated suburban family. They're even like eating their listless, soggy fries, and they're like, "This place used to be more fun." I didn't understand. And there's a little girl, and she's tuning out the drudgery and nightmare of her abusive home existence, and she looks out and sees one of the clowns.
Which I would be terrified anyway.
Yeah.
Normal clown.
And he's beckoning to her. He's like doing like "come hither" sort of thing. Not in a like weird sexy way. But we see that he's got a giant mallet behind his back. Tim, for me, this was like a real moment. I'm like, is this going to be the sort of movie where a clown's going to beat a little girl to death with a hammer?
Yeah.
Should we give spoilers?
I knew that. Oh, yeah, we'll talk. I knew the mother was going to come and grab her.
Yeah, the mother grabs her.
And
it's
the mother
not the sort of movie where a clown beats a little girl to death with a hammer.
Wait, George, but why did they leave out? Do you think? Let's see. What year was this? 88?
Yes.
So I think the book was. I guess the book came out when the book came out. I was wondering, did they not do a clown in the sewer as a joke because they get sued, or was that book? The book came out. I forget when the book came out. Maybe it came out.
I'm going to type this up real quick. We're talking It, Stephen King, 86. It was out.
I
bet the sued. They're like, that's a little bit.
They should have done a joke. They can make a joke.
I'm surprised there wasn't. Yeah, now you mention it.
Anyway. Mooney's reading a gun magazine back at the jail, by the way.
Oh, and Moody's reading a gun magazine back at the jail, and Mike Tobacco, Debbie Stone, and Dave the Good Cop are going to check out where the circus thing, but
They drop.
Dave the good cop is like, Debbie, I still have feelings for you. You know what, Tim? I think he might actually say, I'm going to drop you off at your parents' house.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
I think so, maybe. I would say I'm guessing they're playing like 21-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like they're people who didn't go away to school, so they still live at home. So there's still like a little bit of like going to make out because what else are you going to do? Maybe they're 20 even because like they can't go to a bar yet.
Yeah.
It's too small to like have, I don't know. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. The actors, of course, are like 48 playing them.
Drops her home and the other two go to look at the tent in the woods.
Yep.
Because it's gone. So
the tent
for some reason.
Gone. There is a giant fucking crater in the ground, which probably laid some credence to what happened, but.
Yeah.
And then he arrests he puts in cuffs Mike Tobacco.
Oh, also there's a clown that spends a lot of time in a drugstore just doing things.
Yeah. Also, I read this. Deb, when she gets dropped off, she still has popcorn stuck to her from when she got shot.
Yes. So
she goes into the shower. She takes her clothes off, leaves them on the floor. You don't see anything. I learned in a 22 things we learned about Killer Clowns from Outer Space commentary.
Okay.
Number 17. Debbie's shower scene lasts for 20 minutes of screen time and potentially covers hours of time in the chronology of the film itself. It is possibly the longest shower scene in the history of cinema.
I didn't notice that.
I didn't either, but the movie does so much jumping back from scene to scene that like a lot happens while she is in the shower for a long time. And Debbie.
But Dave and Mike, then they come across the clown making shadow puppets.
Yeah.
And they don't
while
do
they're
anything.
driving through town. Well, they're watching. And Mike's like, shoot him.
I know. He's like, no, he's making puppet shadows. Look, it's George Washington.
It's from a distance. They see like there's a bus stop full of people watching the clown.
Yeah. And he's making
I guess from a distance you don't realize he's a monster right away. But like, yeah, he makes George Washington crossing the Delaware.
Lincoln being assassinated. He does that shadow puppet. He does Ruby killing Oswald.
Yep. Other things, other old people things.
I am your father.
He does a thing where he asks people who their favorite Beatle is.
Yes.
And they all say George Harrison.
Then he does a dinosaur.
Pet rocks.
What dinosaur was it, George? He made a dinosaur.
Well, it was probably, I don't know, it was glowing red eyes. I'm going to say T-Rex.
Okay.
Dinosaur shadow eats all the people.
Right.
And then they're like, oh shit. And then they realize.
And people keep calling Moody, but he's like, nope, not going to fool me. People are
and he just keeps
screaming.
Thinking, even when he knows them, he's like the drugstore guy, because the clowns have been rifling through the drugstore for like hours at this point.
Did you see the headline on the gun magazine he was reading?
No.
That issue had an article about how Lee Harvey Oswald polished his gun handles. Isn't that a coincidence? Isn't that strange, George?
And Lee Harvey Oswald had a secretary named John Wilkes Booth.
That's true.
John Wilkes Booth had a secretary named Lee Harvey Oswald. Both of them begged them not to become presidential assassins, and they didn't do it.
Good.
Let's see. While Deb is in her very long shower, we start seeing popcorn moving by itself in the ground and in the hamper.
That she never notices, yeah.
Because she's taking apparently an hour's long shower. For some reason, there's a scene where a dumpster eats a guy. I don't know what happened there.
Oh, yeah. It was those raccoon noises coming from it, which means stay away. But he's like, I want to stick my head in here and see what these raccoons look like. These raccoons may be been trained by the Circus Delay.
So it is possible. Circus Delay. Stop trying to make Circus Delay happen. It's not going to happen. It's like fetch.
Ole.
Whatchamacallit? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There's an important part. I don't know if we're up to it or past it.
Okay, what part?
But Mike gets stuck without a car because he runs into the Tiramisu brothers. And he's like, I need a ride. It's just a stupid...
They split up.
Yeah, they split up.
Dave, after the scene where they see the clown kill the people with the shadow puppets, they decide to split up.
But they won't give him a ride. He's like, come on, I need to go to Debbie's. And they're like, meh. I don't. They're idiots. But
they're idiots.
He says, but Debbie's got two friends with big boobs. And they're like, all right. They rub their hands together. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah, just to paint, although Mike is a very loser character, To be fair, he says Debbie has 2 roommates, and they go, "Do they have big boobs?" And he's
Oh,
like, "Yes."
I remembered it wrong. And he's
Which
like,
just
of
occurs
course.
to me, Tim, it's not her parents' house because, like, he's saying they have roommates.
I don't know.
She lives in a giant house.
But he says, yes. They've got 2 boobs each, but only 1 vagina between them. And and they start fighting over who gets to have the vagina. That's what they asked. Wait, you don't remember this part?
No. Wait. There is a scene about here where we see a guy driving along in the road, just another random guy, and a clown pulls up next to him in like an invisible or he's just riding on his feet.
He's like a mime. He's pretending to ride a motorcycle.
Yeah. He's zooming along like he's on a motorcycle, but he's not. And he drives that guy off the road and presumably kills him.
And he's like, I'm in a box.
So
all right.
When they split up, we already learned what happened to Mike. He meets up with the Terenzi brothers to introduce them, to get the ride. Dave had went back to the police station in order to get the state police involved. Dave, the good cop. And he gets there and he sees everything is covered with
cotton candy.
Pink cotton candy, which we should have mentioned. When they go to look for the tent, they find pink cotton candy all over Lover's Lane. Everybody's been abducted from there.
Yep.
So they know that there's something weird. They find glasses and stuff like people are gone. And he finds like the 2 guys who had been in prison, the 2 punks. Right. They've been in the jail in that prison. They're like wrapped up in cotton candy and dead. He's like, oh. And he goes into a room. And this scene was actually kind of chilling, I thought.
Yeah.
There's a big clown sitting there at Mooney's desk, and Mooney's sitting on his lap, and he has little rosy cheeks painted on and little lines separating the corner of his mouth to the bottom of his chin like he's a ventriloquist dummy. And the clown has made him into a dummy. Did I write down any line he says?
He doesn't say anything that interesting, I don't think.
He says they're just here to kill us.
Oh, yeah.
And then the clown lifts his hand out, and it's bloody. He'd like literally inserted it inside Mooney. Mooney's dead.
Yep.
And the clown is advancing on Dave. Dave's shooting it, does nothing until he shoots it in the nose.
Yep.
Nose explodes in a shower of sparks. The clown spins around really quick into this like green spin shape, like top shape, and dies. So now we know how to kill a clown. You shoot its nose.
Because he says, that's funny. In the police academy, we learned that you killed a clown by throwing salt in its hair.
Because I've been killing clowns wrong this whole time. He went to the big pile of dead clowns he had in his backyard.
Yes.
He saw it was empty. He's like, they were just pretending to be dead. I thought I was history's greatest killer of clowns. It turns out I haven't killed any. And he was sad.
That's true, George. That's what happened.
All right. So at this point, I kind of started taking less notes because I'm like, we got to get through this.
Well, they drive to the amusement park that seems to be on the California shore.
Well, no, first they go get Deb.
Yes.
Somehow they go to get Deb, or Dave gets Deb, right?
Well, they all do. That's when he got a ride from the Tiramisu brothers. Remember? They brought him there because I think and she's being attacked by small clowns.
The popcorn's grown into like clowns that have become like snakes. Yeah, I guess that's how they reproduce. They shot their eggs on them. Yes. So it's like a scene where like these there's one in the toilet and there's like a couple in the hamper, and she like fights them off, and then
she sprays them. She sticks the shower head in one's mouth.
The shower head in one.
Yeah.
Who comes and gets her though?
It's Mike. Mike with the Tiramisu brothers because he promised them 2 ladies with big boobs.
A big clown comes to the door and imitates Mike's voice.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. All right. So let's just cut to the chase.
Oh, what? she gets wrapped up in a ball for some reason, alive. That's what happens.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, they shoot the clowns. Shoot her with instead of the cotton candy that seemingly kills people, they shoot her with a different colored ray that makes her inside of like a balloon or a ball. It
becomes a car chase with they get to her house.
Yeah.
The Tiramisu brothers are where's the girls with the big boobs? And then they go on.
I should mention it's the Terenzi brothers, but I don't know. That's part of your bit, but. Yeah, so all our heroes descend on this. The clowns have gone to where else would clowns go? To an amusement park.
The amusement park.
Which, like you mentioned, looks like it's on the Jersey Shore somewhere, which makes sense.
No, I thought California Shore.
It did look like California Shore, actually, more.
The Night Watchman?
Yeah. Watchman? Oh, the Night Watchman.
He just gets pies thrown at him. He's, what in tarnation? But they burn him.
The clowns do like a clown card joke, which Tim was talking about earlier with the Abraham Lincoln's top hat.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, it's a small enough car. Only 5 clowns get out. It's not really ludicrous.
Well, there was a 6th one, George. It was dead.
There was a dead one we didn't see. But like considering like at the end of this movie we see upwards of 40 clowns, I'm like, why didn't they just go for the gusto and just keep having them coming out? They just gave up.
They did.
All these clowns pelt this guard with pies until he's covered completely with pies, and one of them pulls out a giant cherry and puts it on top.
Yep.
And they go inside.
It was, yeah. So
at some, I don't remember if it's here.
They run around inside this. It's the spaceship is there again. It moved.
Yeah, it's the spaceship, I guess.
They run around in there, and there's they find a lot of people wrapped up. They find, they see one drink blood out of a crazy straw.
Yes, we learned the thing. Yeah, he puts a crazy straw into one of the cotton candy things and sucks what I think is supposed to be blood, but looks like maybe it's like cherry 7-Up.
And the Tiramisu brothers put forth the only theories we hear, like they must be aliens. I
was impressed by these. They called not only aliens,
animals that look like clowns.
Ancient astronauts. And clowns must have come to Earth in the past
and encountered clowns.
And clowns were created because of these things. And I'm like, this actually is pretty good. That's actually a pretty good explanation.
It's the best we got.
Yeah. So, but like just the fact they brought in ancient astronauts in a movie from 1988, like this is before like that guy Georgi Axelopoulos or whatever he is, aliens. Like this is early for that shit.
Yes.
They free Deb. They find her in her balloon, so she's alive. They shoot it. It pops open. They're being chased by all the clowns. They get into like a big fight. I think they shoot a couple clowns in the nose and kill them.
Yep.
And then a character who was not named this in the movie, but I learned from reading materials. All the clowns it's like that scene. If you've ever seen the Fellowship of the Ring,
it's the giant
where
clown.
the Fellowship is surrounded by all these goblins, and then they hear the Balrog in the distance, like the
yeah.
And they all run away.
Yes,
the clowns do the same thing, and a giant clown drops down. Do you know what that clown's name is, Tim?
Mary Honkers.
Mary Honkers, yeah, or Clownzilla, as apparently they called it. And it's a
Clownzilla?
truly huge
Come
clown.
on.
I know. I didn't make that up. That's what they called it. I learned that from my 22 things we learned about from the commentary. And there's a big battle with them. The Clownzilla. So they're almost lost, and the Terenzi brothers drive in their ice cream truck.
Yes.
And save the day, but then the truck blows up.
Truck blows
and
up.
Like, oh, no, the Terenzis are dead. And
but you missed a little bit. I just want to mention it.
Yeah.
Before that, the Tiramisu.
Yeah, tiramisu. What?
They fell in a ball pit. We lost them.
Oh my god! Yeah, this part's very important.
And they catch up with what I get. These female clowns with large boobs.
Yeah, they come out and they see like there's the only 2 lady clowns we see with giant boobs. They're like, oh. So when we see them again right before they blow up, they're covered with hickeys.
Yes, like
because they apparently had sex with weird aliens.
It was a different time, George. Lady clowns with big boobs were all the fashion.
That's all that mattered.
The play clown centerfold of 1988.
What was their name?
Mary Clankers.
Mary Clank. Wow, very similar to the Godzilla's name.
Her favorite book.
101
Jokes for a Funeral.
Okay,
her favorite TV show, She's the Sheriff. Favorite movie, Full Metal Jacket. Her favorite turn on.
It's all tracks.
Cake farts or pie farts.
Cake farts. It's been a while since we mentioned that on the show. Good job bringing back an old classic.
Turn offs are guys who burp at the dentist. There you go.
Wow. That makes me think that the centerfold was probably a dentist herself.
Yes, maybe.
Because she, like, why else would you even think of that? Like, you're not normally privy to people going to the dentist, but if you're sitting there hunched over some ape's face and he had like a salami sandwich for lunch and he burps, that's going to bug you.
There's a YouTube channel for it, George.
Oh, okay. So it's like Dr. Pimple Popper, but it's Dr. Dentist Burper.
It's Dentist Burper, yeah.
Oh, it's me, Dr. Dentist Burper.
They need a better
I'm going to the dentist to get a root canal, but before I drank 7 glasses of Coke.
And he films himself. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And then he puts it on. It's outrageous.
I see.
So Clownzilla is attacking them. Dave is like...
He's picked up like Fay Ray. Sorry.
Yeah, he gets picked up, but he sends Mike Tobacco and Deb Stone. He's like, you guys go this way, and he has the gun, so he's shooting at him. He runs out of ammo. He gets picked up by Fay Ray, like from King Kong, and the thing's crushing him, and it's up close to him, and he pulls off his badge, And I didn't realize until this moment, clowns' noses are not just their vulnerable spot; they're also incredibly fragile.
Sensitive.
He
just
takes
like
the paint off his badge
Mhm.
and pricks the nose, and it explodes like a balloon full of confetti.
Mm-hmm.
And Clownzilla is destroyed.
He could have also. Never mind.
Could have also what?
I was going to say clowns have sensitive nipples too.
Yeah, they do. We see it. I mean, we know that from the Terenzi brothers having their way with those
And
big-breasted female clowns.
the spaceship explodes, and we think everybody's dead, except Debbie got out with the Tiramisu brothers.
No, Debbie and Mike Tobacco run out.
Yes,
They think
they got out
everyone's
too.
dead. And then the spaceship explodes, and the ice cream truck comes hurtling through the air and lands there on
Yes.
fire. And surprise, surprise, Dave is inside. And he's like, I got in the truck because it's got insulation. And then the back of the truck opens, and the Terenzi brothers are alive
Yes.
too. And they're like, yeah, there's so much insulation. We went in the back. And they're like all, cartoonishly blackened and smoky, and their clothes are ripped and they're covered with ice cream. And they're like, oh, you won the ice cream. It's never going to get us ladies. So everyone survives.
But
And then they look to the sky and they're like,
is it
what
over?
do they say? They're like, I guess it's over and we won. And then pies hit them in the face. The end.
Yeah, I don't remember, but it is true. Ice cream hits him in the face. I wrote that down. Who threw it?
It wasn't ice cream. I
Oh.
was unsure. I read it's pies. It's like it's stuff from like the exploding ship, I guess.
That's right. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But there's something important at the end. Mike Tobacco standing by himself. Dave is holding Debbie. I saw Dave. He was like kissing the back of her head, nuzzling her hair. Did you notice
No.
that? Yes.
Well,
I noticed.
I do want to set up the fact that, like, their relationship, there's actually a kind of cute little scene where at first Dave, the ex of Debbie, is kind of hostile to Mike.
Yeah.
Because she's just looking out for a good time guy. Because he's like, he got his shit together. He went to the academy.
Jeez. Yes.
And they're very against each other. But, like, through their adventures, which we kind of glossed over, they become good friends and like they respect each other. So when it's revealed Dave lives, Mike goes right up. He's like, Dave, and gives him a big hug. Like he's happier than anybody. I'm like, oh, I guess they're cool now.
Yeah, the whole time Dave's like, she only likes policemen. She'll never go for you, whatever you do. I don't know. I don't know what Mike Tobacco did.
I assume he is a one of those guys that rafts in the back of trucks.
Yes,
He's
van.
like,
He's
business
still got
has
a
been
van.
slow, but I am the only truck rafter I know. So once the demand kicks in, I am sitting pretty to be the country's #1 biggest truck rafter.
He's got a van with wall-to-wall carpeting and everything.
Oh, man, a carpeted van.
Pie fights. They were the height of comedy up until about 1937.
No.
That's when...
Carpeted vans?
Huh? No.
Carpeted vans?
Pie fights were the height of comedy
pie fights.
until about 1937 when B. Benedict and Wally Albright staged a pie fight in their movie called Benny Gets a Telegraph. One of the cakes thrown by Mr. Gallagher hit Louis Hannigan in the head. He was and it had a...
It deranged him and he hung a munchkin, right?
Well, he was the head
he went nuts.
snuff provider.
Yeah.
And,
he made snuff films by hanging munchkins.
No, snuff that they put up their nose.
Oh, that sort of snuff. That's less fun.
You derailed the whole... Never mind.
No, Tim, let me ask you a question.
And Halligan, the guy who got hit in the head, he was like, "You boxed my ears, Mr. Gallagher."
Oh, no.
Because Mr. Gallagher threw it. There we go. I got it in. You tried your best to derail.
Good reading. Good reading.
Wherever you are, wherever you're hiding, I'll find you. I'll get you. I'll get you.
Revenge.
I'll get you.
Revenge.
Revenge. One of us will die. One of us will die.
I will
One of
not
us
let
will
Cindy
die.
take my place. I will have my revenge.
We should do a revenge, I guess.
All right, so first, our the wild card question.
Equinox.
Which of the characters in this amazing movie, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, was most likely to bring the best snack to a Sasquatch autopsy? Not just a snack. Presumably, there's multiple characters bringing snacks, but like one of them is bringing extra spicy Doritos. That doesn't go well with the musk of a Sasquatch.
Well,
This person brought the best snack.
I'm thinking
Tim, take it
that
away.
Mike Tobacco, being as well educated as he is, I'm not saying it
circuses.
would be the best snack, but he's like, I know, I'll go to Big Top Burgers. That's the best place in town. That's where I take Debbie every other night. And
All right.
they order a platter of. He orders a platter, the platter with the fries and the the Pepsi and the burgers.
Pepsi.
And what's
And so he
their
shows
special?
up.
What do they have special that other places don't have? I forget. What is it, Jordan?
I mean, circus-themed food.
Like
so
circus. They have the circus delay burger. It takes a long time to bake it. Bake it with love, and that's why it's delayed. There you go. It's good. Juicy, good home cooked juicy goodness.
Guys, I just want you all to know Tim is staring into the middle distance, just drooling at the mouth, picturing these burgers. This doesn't answer the pressing question of where it said Sasquatch autopsy is happening, where the Sasquatch's corpse was procured. So let's just say that's not important.
No,
he was just invited as a dignified guest.
Yeah, why was he invited? We don't know what he even does for a living.
Well, he's a Sasquatch researcher, of course.
Okay, yeah.
He got together with other Bigfoot researchers like Lauren Coleman and Bernard Hoovelmans and other actual real people like that. And together they killed the country's only Sasquatch.
Oh, would they kill it?
Yeah, they killed it. Well, it's funny because, he had gotten his snacks at Big Top Burgers. Mm-hmm. That's actually where they caught the Bigfoot. A lot of people don't realize the Bigfoot spent a lot of time hiding in the dumpster back there.
Right.
He'd been known to occasionally suck people in and kill them by making raccoon noises. They saw this Bigfoot milling about outside, and they actually they beckoned to it. They waved come here. And the Bigfoot came up close to them. They had a big old mallet behind their head.
What?
They beat the Sasquatch to death.
Jeez.
Just brutally beat him.
I don't
to
think
death.
they would kill Sasquatch, George. But
they would, because they were so mad. If you are a cryptozoologist, you start off with a love of Sasquatch. But after your life falls to shambles around you, after your wife or partner leaves you because all you do is go in the woods looking for a mythical monkey man, you hate Bigfoot.
You do.
You're like, why didn't you show me when you were young? When I was young. So they see one, all that rage, all those years spent in fruitless quest, bubbles up, and they beat him to death with a mallet.
All right, you're getting way off track.
All right. So do you want to do?
Dave brings a platter of Big Top burgers to the Sasquatch autopsy, and is that it? The end?
No.
He brought some circus delay burgers.
But the problem is, Tim, there is a special pheromone that exists in Sasquatch musk that interacts poorly with the special sauce on the delay burgers.
Okay.
Creates mustard gas, kills everybody present. Yeah. Who's going first to the actual revenge stories, Tim? I'll go first.
Okay, you go first.
Yeah.
We'll cue the music.
All right, music's playing. So there's a lot of parties that are impugned in this. There's a lot of people who would be seeking revenge. Most of this town knows, if they weren't killed themselves, they know somebody who was. But there's one person I want to really kind of put a focus on. He was the guy driving his car by himself on a highway.
Okay.
Went up next to him, pulled a clown on an invisible motorcycle, and drove him off the cliff. We see the car go off it's not a big cliff, it's like an embankment.
Yeah.
Crashes into the thing. We assume he's dead, but I have bad news for you, Tim.
Bad news?
He was not dead. He was pinned.
Oh,
His
no.
legs were severed.
Oh.
His spine was shattered. And he was pinned beneath the crumpled steering column for 6 weeks.
Better not turn into a Spider-Man villain. I gotta say.
Whoa, that's an idea. His car, he worked at the local mad scientist lab up the hill, and he was trying out a new car battery. This car battery would last until the heat death of the universe, so he claimed. It didn't, but it was very effective. So this guy was trapped there for 6 weeks. Luckily, he also had the back seat of his car was full of popcorn and soda. So he had sustenance. But nobody knew about what happened. They were busy dealing with the other stuff.
Right.
And he sat there just eating popcorn and drinking soda, not able to move, just defecating on himself, and he's paralyzed.
Was it Pepsi?
And the entire time, because the battery of the car is so good, the radio is playing the single he had put in the car stereo over and over and over again.
Is it Popcorn? Or
it's the song Popcorn by Hot Butter.
Oh, yes. I love that song.
Playing non-stop.
I'll play a little bit of it right
6
here.
weeks straight. So imagine that, dear listeners. 6 weeks straight. You can't feel anything below your mid-thorax. You're eating nothing but Pepsi. and stale popcorn, hearing that song on repeat. Finally, after 6 weeks, the battery finally craps out. He's still alive. He's lost most of his body weight. He doesn't know about what happened. He just knows this crazy clown thing came.
Okay.
Yep. And then he finally, when the music stops, it's like what remains of his sanity stops as well.
Okay.
And he's given a Herculean burst of strength. Using the last of his power, he's able to shove that column off him, and he crawls himself to the highway. And he's going to get revenge on those clowns
Okay.
that did this.
But they're gone.
Now, of course, he doesn't know that the clown, thing has been repealed this entire time.
Repealed?
But what does he see?
Clowns have been repealed?
Well, I mean, no, that's not the word I'm looking for. The clown invasion has been turned away.
Repelled.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And he's going to kill the first clown he sees. What does he see in front of him?
Uh,
The Terenzi brothers' truck.
Did they get back into the ice cream business?
They're trying to make a go of it. Doesn't have wheels. They're using it as a stand. Like, it's kind of like a morbid curiosity. People are going there like, really?
I thought they.
So many people died. You're selling clown stuff? And slowly this man, should we give him a name? What's his name, Tim? Legless Joe. Legless Joe is dragging himself closer
Joe.
and closer. He has a sharpened penknife in his mouth, closer and closer to his date with Destiny to kill these clowns, who are actually, as we know, the beloved Terenzi brothers.
Okay.
And he gets closer.
Closer.
And he gets closer.
And closer.
And he gets closer. And he gets closer.
Okay.
And he sees that the Terenzi brothers aren't there at all, because know what?
Uh-oh. He's dead.
They'd already died of the weird alien VDs they got from having sex with the alien clown ladies.
Oh.
And in fact, all of humanity has died. It's spread. While he was in the car, he was safe. So now Legless Joe, he is the last human left on Earth.
Well, who are those clowns? You mean, what did he see? When he saw their truck?
Clowns,
the truck was empty.
He saw their truck. Yeah.
I see.
Well, they were there, but they were dead. They just expired from the space VD they caught.
He stabbed one and maggots just came out. It was like...
And he ate the maggots because it was in popcorn.
just imagining the special effects.
Yeah, it was good special effects. And then he died finally of old age, 80 years later. Extreme old age.
80 years later?
80 years old. He had a TV show that ran for 50 episodes. It was called Legless Joe Sings the Blues. He did it for himself. It was just him. 80 years later, he finally died. Because it turns out like that experience had hardened him. He was hard to kill then. The last man on Earth.
And that's it?
His quest for vengeance unfulfilled.
Is that the name of the movie, The Last Man on Earth?
No. What do you think the movie's called?
Omega Man.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, let's go with that. It's called I Am Lesioned because when you died from the VD, you had little sores over your body.
Oh.
I Am Lesioned.
That was a good one.
That was my best one yet.
You had me in suspense.
I actually sat down, Tim, with full intention to actually write one for once, not just go off the top of my head like usual.
Oh, thank you.
And instead, what I didn't do it. I instead wrote my 3 ways that clowns are like Lincoln so that you would do an animation. So I did do some work in advance, just not the right work.
All right. Let's get to my story.
All right.
You're just reading
Play
the internet.
music.
Play the music. So as we saw at the end of this movie, Dave was already there kissing the back of Debbie's head.
Oh, I can't believe that happened.
So sure enough, they got back together. And Mike Tobacco, he lost his gal, and he had to hang out with the Tiramisu brothers all the time, but, they're great guys. But Mike had a plan for revenge for Dave swooping in and stealing his gal. If Debbie liked police, Mike would go to the police academy and become a police officer. That's just what he did. But while there, he failed the clown shooting class due to his now deep, deep fear of clowns. All the other recruits laughed at him as he was paralyzed by the sight of the red noses and, was unable to kill the clown decoys. They weren't real clowns. He practiced.
And he wasn't really paralyzed like my character, Legless Joe.
He was just, these are fake clowns to practice with when they have to shoot a real clown. Mike thought he should face his fear of clowns head on and defeat it. So guess what he did? He joined clown school to really face his fears.
That's doing it, man.
Yep.
That's like out of the frying pan into the fire.
He thought it was Circus Delay, but it was clown school. Anyway, it's clown school. So Mike, he worked hard in clown school, but found that he could only be one of those scary clowns who cried. Plus, when they tried to practice the bit where they all fit into a tiny car, Mike would panic because he was usually lying next to the dead clown.
Okay. Oh, so...
Yeah. All right. Thus, he flunked out he fucked out. Thus, he flunked out of clown school.
You know who fucked out of clown school is those Terenzi brothers with those lady clowns. Am I right?
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
But he decided he liked comedy, and he went on to improv school. And he was kicked out for always saying yes and by saying Lincoln flew to the moon. But eventually he became a stand-up comic, where he did a popular routine in town, where he'd come up on stage and he'd say, 3 clowns walk into a circular math class and have a pie fight. 3 clowns, they walk into a circular... the circumference pie. Anyway.
Circular math class.
So Mike becomes the top comic of Crescent Cove, which isn't hard.
Nope.
And when it's Dave the policeman's birthday, he arranges a roast. He's going to get his revenge and roast Dave the cop in front of everybody. Everybody in town comes out for the big Dave celebration, Dave birthday celebration.
Dave Day.
Yes, it's Dave Day. He brings him up on stage. That week, the police are very tired because they've been chasing reports of strange lights in the sky. But on this night, everything seems fine. Thus, on the night of the roast, Dave's on stage in his policeman uniform with his fiancée, Debbie, sitting nearby, and Mike starts his roast by saying, "Let's hear it for Dave, people.
Let's hear it for Dave.
He's a big asset to
Dave.
Crescent Cove." They kid Dave about being a bit of a dandy down at the bar. He always orders those fancy drinks like the shaved hanky-panky or the underage Russian. Oh, wait, sorry. Those are his Pornhub searches. Those are his favorite Pornhub searches. Shuffles cards.
Oh, wow. They're like, this guy's the best comedian in town?
No, go like this. Rumble, rumble.
Rumble. How about this?
The crowd is...
Yeah, the crowd's having a rough time. Dave?
Some say Dave can't stand the sight of blood, but that's not true. When he has his period every month, he hardly ever faints.
Good gendered insult, Tim.
Well, this is Mike. Mike is doing this.
Mike.
Mike Tobacco is a jerk.
Mike Tobacco.
He thinks this is Circus Delay.
Yeah.
But Dave's a fun guy.
Why is he doing period jokes? What's going on?
But
I'm the audience.
Dave's a fun guy. Dave's one of those...
Is he like a mushroom then? Is he like a fungi?
He's one of those World War II buffs.
Uh-huh.
He always has time to stop and tell you about how the Holocaust was a hoax.
Why is he bringing up the Holocaust? This is fine. What's wrong? All right.
It's too long. Dave's parents, though, they're wonderful people. You know, Dave's family, they often eat as young. But not in Dave's case. No, you see, Dave was born on Christmas. And the live manger scene over the church needed someone to play all the animal dung. And baby Dave fit the bill to a T.
I thought this was supposed to be a tight 15. This is a loose, floppy 28.
So Dave,
keep going.
Dave got so mad at this point, he jumped up on stage and started beating Mike with his billy club until Mike was senseless and had to be brought to the hospital right in front of everyone.
Nice.
Thus, he got his revenge because everybody thinks Dave is a jerk now.
I mean,
everyone was aghast.
Given the quality of those insults, like those are pretty easy to let wash over you. Yeah, Dave's a bad person.
Okay. Thus, later, Dave visits badly beaten Mike in the hospital. He felt bad and wanted to apologize and maybe prevent a bad lawsuit. But he was fine. But anyway, Mike was hooked up to all these machines and wires, and Dave wasn't sure if Mike could hear him, but he gave him a heartfelt apology for beating him so badly. And from behind Dave, in the hospital hallway, a voice says, "Thank you, Dave. That was very heartfelt." And Dave turns around to see Mike Tobacco standing there, as healthy as the day is long. No, Mike Tobacco is also lying in the hospital bed. And Dave says, How could this be? And this other Dave says, "You saw those lights in the sky, right?"
I know where you're going. I'm going to leave. Finish up your fucking
Policeman Dave says, "What? Those lights in the clowns are those lights in the sky are the killer clowns back?" No, another voice says, stepping out from behind Mike. It's another Dave the policeman. He says, you see, it's not clowns this time, but killer clones.
Can I guess?
Killer
clones, yeah.
from outer space. And the movie's called Killer Duplicates from Outer Space. Oh.
And then does Rita Conway appear? She goes, so you mean I could have a baby that's just like me?
No one's going to know
I don't think that'd be a good idea. Tim!
Did that make sense?
So again,
Killer Clones is the sequel.
Killer Clones. All right. I applaud the wordplay.
What?
I'm bewildered by the bizarre comedy stretch in the middle. But you know what? It's all part of a Tim Hamilton experience.
Well, we'll get this out of the way. Write us. SteadyBimco with an E at gmail.com.
Okay. Yeah.
Give us reviews.
Should we
and
give us reviews. Remember our contest we mentioned up front.
Yes. Tell us what Flo's catchphrase was in Equinox. Was it Remember the Alamo? Was it...
Was it I know you little fart? You don't know. You have to listen to the episode.
Was it I'm the best at what I do, and what I do isn't very nice?
Was it I drew a blank, folks.
Tally ho?
Tally ho?
Was it engage? Make it so?
Okay. All right.
Who says engage?
Who says tally ho then?
I don't know.
I thought you were doing Star Trek.
Many
Star
people
Trek.
have said tally ho. It's usually a British person in a British movie.
Yeah.
Oh, important thing about this contest. Oh my God.
Okay, what?
I better edit it in.
Continental United States.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Yes.
We don't have the money to send artwork right now through customs, which costs a lot of money.
Could you possibly do an NFT for somebody who wins from out of the country?
Yeah, you can have an NFT.
NFT
It'd be
of
worth
the
lots of
character
money.
from Equinox.
Next week, Halloween.
Oh, it's the movie. We continue the spooky thing. It's your movie to choose, Tim. Do you have something lined up for us?
I have 4 of them, and I'm excited to choose one. But I think I picked mine. I'm going to pick. It's from 1980.
All right, let's hear it. Oh, I like that.
I did read that this was filmed with no permits. Every shot was like illegal. They went out and shot it in Chicago.
I like that too.
Nobody in this movie seems to have any credits in any other movie.
I'm wary of that. We've been burned by this sort of movie before.
It's on Tubi, and it's called The Psychotronic Man. I've never heard of it. So he gets psychotronic powers and murders people.
I would have thought that was a movie you had mentioned before.
Maybe I found it before. And the film, quality looks not good.
It's not going to be an MGM production, is what you're saying.
The Psychotronic Man on Tubi. Crazy, scary October.
Sounds like a complete amateur hour. Tim, are you actually sure this is a scary movie?
Yeah, it's a guy who gets scary powers to kill people with his mind.
I don't know what psychotronic means. To me, it sounds like psychedelic. It could be just a guy who trips balls. So I don't know. All right,
I think it's a made-up word,
looking
George.
forward to it.
It's a made-up word.
Okay.
Okay. So, Continental United States contest, right in. And we're out of here. Goodbye. So long.
Goodbye, everybody.
Equinox.
This has been a Pity Party Line production.
Party line. It's a party line.
All right. I don't know.
All right. What's yours?
I don't know.
You don't know your revenge story
I know.
either?
I'm saying I don't know about that animation. I'll make it a boy and a dog. Davey. I don't know what the kid sounded like. I forget.
I think he just had a high-pitched squeaky voice. Remember there's that one episode of Davey and Goliath where they're camping in the backyard, Davey and Goliath, and there's a panther loose?
Yeah.
And then this is real. That's your yes and when you think I'm making this up. This was a real episode.
They hide in the outhouse.
And
I know.
No, it's not the house. No, there's really a panther loose. And the dad has a tranquilizer gun and he shoots the panther.
Okay. That's it?
It's the only episode I remember because, you had to be in pretty desperate straits for entertainment to watch Davey and Goliath.
Yes, he did.
That one had a panther, so I watched that one.
You're not making that up.
No, it's real. It's real. I'm typing in Davey and Goliath panther.
Oh, I think I saw bloopers from this. You can actually see the wires holding the panther, the animated panther.
Yeah, and then he's like, if you look very closely. So,
I think you dreamt that.
no, it's definitely true.
I think there's one.
All right.
You remember they're watching TV? It's like, Davey, what are you watching? It's like, I'm
It's like
watching
porn.
the Zapruder film. Watch here.
Shit, it's weird. My dad's in it.